So in the last video, we learned how to create external forms, one of which is an appointment form, allowing your customers to schedule show rounds, meetings, and/or item delivery with you or your team members. So today I'm going to show you how to define that availability for those calendars. So we're going to go down to Venue and select the venue you're managing availability for and click on Calendar Availability. Now, I do want to note that not only is this utilized for the viewing scheduler or those external forms, but you can also use this defined availability on dropdowns when just booking appointments on a customer's account. And you'll see that on the How to Manage Appointments video. So here's your calendar availability. I don't have any on here, but you do have a different filters, options once you have this list built out. So I'm going to go Actions, Add Availability. So I'm going to name this just Holly because this is for me. Now, when you're setting up your availability, it's a good practice to set it up for a week, maybe up to 6 weeks at the most at a time. The reason being, and there's a couple compelling reasons to do this. One is that you don't want your calendar on your website to show too much availability. If a couple can see that they can book out viewings for the next 6 months, there's no urgency to get them in as soon as possible. And your competitors are going to have urgency. So you want to get them in the door, let them fall in love so you can get them booked. So that's number one. Number two is it does slow down the loading speed of the calendar if you have, a year of availability that you're trying to load. And lastly, you're going to be managing your exceptions. So we're going to be putting in your pattern of availability, and then you're going to be putting in exceptions. The longer your pattern is, just the more you have to manage with your exceptions and the uncertainty of your future schedule, etc. So putting it in a couple weeks at a time allows you to have a really user-friendly set of dates to manage with ease. So I have just putting my name on the description, and I'm going to make this one meetings. And I'm going to start this, and these drop downs again are from my Chrome settings, not from Sonas. I'm going to start on December, and I'm just going to run this through the end of December. So I'm going to start this at 9 a.m. and I'm going to run through the end of December till 6 p.m. Okay, and it's available for, these are the types. So we're defining ceremony availability, item delivery, meetings, and show rounds. Ceremony availability is a configuration from the venue setup where if you're managing a certain area, like that you have an estate with one chapel for ceremonies and 2 large reception areas, and you're having to manage the 2 ceremony times that are allowed in the chapel a day. So I'm going to set this up as meetings. And for my schedule, I do meetings for 1 hour, but my show rounds are slotted for 45 minutes. So I'm going to put in a schedule for each of them. If meetings and show rounds are equal to you, and it doesn't matter, you don't prefer meetings in the morning, show round in the afternoon, or meetings on Mondays and show rounds on Tuesdays, that the same slot, a noon on Wednesday can be either, you can actually put it in for both. But I have 2 different durations, so I'm going to just put in meetings for this one. Lead time, I'm going to put at 4 hours for meetings, and I'm going to put my name in. So it's a good practice for staff members to be managing their own availability, but as a manager to be checking in on the venue's availability to make sure that you have good coverage. So here's where I'm putting in my pattern. And I like to use advanced mode. So I'm going to say that for meetings, I'm available on weekdays, so Monday through Friday. Starting at 9, my meetings are 60 minutes. And I only allow 1 booking per slot. Multiple bookings will allow multiple events or sets of customers to book in for that same time. And I want to be done by 5. I have the end of availability going to 6, but I want to be done by 5. time between slots, I'm going to put it at 0. And I don't need a time between. So that'll give you a buffer if you want to put a 10, 15-minute buffer. I'm going to hit save. So I'm going to go to preview, and you can see for the month of December, I have all of these meetings in. But I'm going to hide now. I'm going to put in my days not unavailable. So I'm just going to put in out of office. And I'm going to be gone the 24th, starting at 9, through the 26th until 6. Save. So now when I go to show availability, I'm going to see that those days are no longer showing as available. Other blocks I may want to put in: dentist appointment next Tuesday. There's a wedding next Wednesday, and I do not want meetings during wedding hours. We do not automatically block your appointments for events because there's some venues that have large enough teams that they are having events and meetings, or having events and show rounds. They like to have show rounds when the venue is fully dressed. So if you have those exceptions, you do need to manage and put those in. Just make sure that you're not overlapping, and always make sure to check in on preview and that you get the output that you've expected, because it's easy to make mistakes, of course. Slip in, put in, 28 and 20 instead of 26, or whatever the case may be, or put 26 on the year instead of 25 and block yourself for a long time. So I have that set. Now I can also say I'm available for, a Saturday. So I have one Saturday a month that I will take meetings from 10 till 2. If I look at the preview, I now have all of the Saturdays, and I really only want one. So then I'm going to have to put in the exceptions of when I don't want to be in. So I'll work on the 6th, but not the 13th. And not the 20th. As much as I love my drop downs, every once in a while they get a little annoying. And I want this on the, just go here, it doesn't matter. So now the 27th, I'm going to hit save, show preview, and now I have all the Saturdays blocked except for that one Saturday that I have set up. So now my meeting schedule is good for December. So if I send out my meeting link for December meetings, this will be the selection that my existing couples can book in for their planning meetings. But I also want to define when I can do viewings. So now I'm going to do Holly viewings. And you can put, December 25, whatever. And we're going to start on December 1st, 9 a.m. through the end of December at 6. That's fine. Available for show rounds. The lead time for show rounds is 24 hours. Now, with this lead time, a staff member can book in something sooner. This is the lead time for the viewing forms, for when a couple goes online and can book in on that calendar. But I can manually override that as a staff user. So my viewings are going to be weekdays as well. Starting at 9, I only go 45 minutes. Advanced mode, because I like to put my end time in. And I only do viewings in the mornings. I'm just going to go through till noon. And then again, you're going to put in your days not available. So when I show the preview, I can see that my show round is at 9, 9:45, 10:30, 11, 11:15. Now, if I go back to calendar availability and I want to see both things in action, I can change to the calendar list, flip to December. And now, like on the 1st, I can see I've got a meeting available at 9, but also a show round at 9, another show round at 9:45, a meeting at 10. Now, what's going to happen is if I book a meeting at 9, that 9 o'clock show round will be blocked, as well as that 9:45 show round, because as Holly, I'm blocked from 9 to 10, so I can't have a 9 o'clock show round. I cannot have a 9:45 show round. So I'll have a 9 o'clock meeting from 9 to 10, and then my next available show round will be at 10:30, or my next meeting will be at 10. So it will block me out since it's all under my name. And this is where, as a manager, you want to look to make sure that you have good coverage. So if you want to say, okay, I want to look at just my show round coverage. Oh, we only have mornings covered. Hey, Sarah, can you go in and book in some afternoon appointments? Or we don't have anybody booked in on Saturdays, put some Saturdays. But of course, you want to be somewhat methodical in how much availability you present. Because if you have 10 show around appointments a day, 7 days a week, well, let's be honest, people want what they can have. And people may look at that enormous availability and say, oh, why isn't anybody else booking in? So you want to show that you're busy and not show too much availability, but you want to provide enough availability that you're meeting your potential customers' needs. So it's a balancing game and trying to find that sweet spot. I also recommend on your viewing form on your website that you add the wording, click here to book your appointment. If you don't see an appointment that works for you, let us know. So you can offer some flexibility outside of that, those predefined spots. So you have this. Now the green means that it's available. And if you have multiple show round spots, so maybe me and Sarah have show round at 9 on Monday, it will say 0 of 2. And then if somebody books, we'll have 1 of 2 and it will go orange because there's partial availability. And once that slot is completely booked, it will go red. You can also see your availability by going to calendar. And you have display mode here scheduled, but we can show available. And if I go to December, I can see all of the available times of show rounds and meetings for myself. You can also just drill down to yourself or other team members. And you can also just look at certain appointment types here. So there's a couple different ways you can see where you're at, what you have available. And keeping up on that availability, maintaining that. So how that can look is when you go into your availability, you could just go in and just say, I want to add on another month. Okay, this is working well for me. I'm going to add on January. That's fine. Making sure you're putting in the exceptions. Or you can just start with a new add January in. I personally find it easier to put in add January because this days not available list gets long and you're scrolling down. So that's why I like doing month by month or 2 weeks by 2 weeks. And then just know every Monday I'm going in, adding a week, putting in my exceptions and just managing my calendar correctly. So you'll find a rhythm that works best for you, best for your team, and then just making sure that the manager or whomever is kind of overseeing things is looking at the availability as a whole to make sure that you guys have good coverage. And that is how you're going to manage your venue availability. Make sure you check out the video on how to use the availability or how to manage your appointments to see that availability in play.